What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Stocks by the Numbers, and today is Thursday, the 22nd. As you can see, market closed roughly 30 minutes ago, and I wanted to do another quick installment in my new series that I started because I'm awesome. And name of the series is How'd I Do? Let's Review. And one of the first companies that I spoke about on this channel was this company here, Draftkings, ticker symbol DKNG, listed here on the NASDAQ. And this stock, I did the video on May 11th. As on this big dip here, as this company hit a new 52-week low. It was $9.77, right? And I said at the time, I said it was like $10 stock. And I did say in the short term that you're probably going to see a pump up to like 11.5, 12, you know, and then it's going to start to pull back pending on future earnings, right? So as you can see, you know, initially, you know, look at that, you know, just 2 or 3 days later, I believe that date right there, May 13th, is when I made the follow-up video. And it was called DraftKings Stock Rises from the Dead and Rallies Over 20% in just a few days. You know, do we keep going or is this it? And, you know, I did mention that if it does continue to keep going and hit these points of support here, see roughly around that 13.5 mark, I did say if it does break 13.5, you know, it could run up into the 14 and 14.5 range. And, you know, again, not patting myself on the back, but as you can see in the short term, couple of weeks after you watched my video, if you know, heard me make the correct prediction, giving it a $10 valuation, and you decided that around that level you were going to step in, you know, obviously, as you can see, within a couple of weeks, the stock went from sub 10 to, you know, north of 14.5. So if you happen to step in and buy shares, or you bought calls, you know, 1 or 2 months out, obviously, you definitely made, you know, a nice return on DraftKings here in the short term. And whether it was because of my video or not, I'm just going to dive in and take credit for it anyway. Nah, I'm just kidding. But if you did make money in that little pump, you know, good job. Now, obviously, as we see, you know, very volatile even after that pump, right? I mean, you have a stock that goes from 10 to almost 15, rallying roughly 50% off new lows, which I'm sure a lot of people added to their position here to lower their cost basis, or felt that now it was a realistic valuation, and that's when they initially stepped in at roughly $10. And if I turn around in a few weeks, I don't know about you guys, but if I turn around in a few weeks and I nailed that call and I'm up now like 40% or even more if I had calls, you know, obviously I'm going to take profits off the table, right? And I'm going to toss some of that cash into my pocket. And that's exactly what you saw. You know, after a stock like this rallies, you know, it does pull back, and it came back down here to you know, it's showing 1070, and then we had a massive explosion up to north of $20 and has since kind of been pulling back, right? So let's switch over to trading view and let's see exactly what was going on. Okay, so as you can see, May 13th, this is when I made the video. And within a couple of weeks, we rallied again, showing you up to almost that $15 level. We pulled back, and then what's going on here? Just like with a lot of other publicly traded companies, you start to see the volume come in, you start to see the positive pop as the company goes into earnings. How'd they do? Well, they beat estimates. They came in over 6% above estimates on the revenue side and, you know, posted a phenomenal EPS side here, coming above estimates by over 33%. Phenomenal quarter. Should it have pumped up to $21.5? Absolutely not. That's what makes me laugh about these situations. However, you know, should it have gone up going into earnings with the anticipation? Absolutely. Should it have seen a little pop after these positive numbers came out? Absolutely. And then it should sell off. And that's exactly what you started to see. Over the coming months, you know, it did bounce around. However, you know, people will be taking profits. Like I said, you get in back here, $10, $11, $12 a share. All of a sudden, the company beats earnings that, you know, was getting beat up, and now it's sitting at $20 a share. Trust me when I tell you, 9 out of 10 investors are going to hit the sell button right there. So, you know, if you did sell, congratulations. If you didn't sell and you're holding for the long term, listen, don't beat yourself up. You know, I did say, in my opinion anyway, I don't know how a lot of other analysts and YouTube analysts supposedly might feel about this company, but I did say long term, if you did hold it for several years, you will most likely get back to like that mid $20, $30 range, right? The company will probably benefit if you get in at a low cost basis like that. But, moving forward here a couple of months after here, now we're in October, heading into November, and you can see the company selling off. However, it did have the pump the end of October, early November, going into next earnings. And if we pull up these earnings, you can see phenomenal revenue. Estimates of $440 million coming off a healthy quarter back here in August, and they come in with $500 million in revenue. Phenomenal. Slight miss on the EPS side. So the one thing I will say is, that they are generating a little bit more business, right? And if they can maintain this level, now you're looking at like $2 billion a year in revenue, and you're sitting at a market cap of like $5 billion in change. And what is that? That's about 2.5 times total revenue, right? So this company, especially based on the way they turned around the EPS a little bit, and of course they're coming in heavier with the revenue numbers in comparison to analyst estimates on earnings. This company, sees a little bit of life after earnings. Absolutely. If I was watching this company at 11 and change, and then I see these numbers come out, yes, the EPS side might piss me off a little bit, but you can't deny the fact that the company did grow their footprint and increase their business. And what was it? 13% above estimates. I mean, that's phenomenal. So, again, long term, I do like the company. In the short term, I did stress about how they're basically, at the time when I did the video 7 months ago, they were basically spending like $1.50 to make $1, right? So that really isn't a formula for success, regardless of what product or service you offer. The company is really not considered a healthy company on paper anyway, if you're losing more than you're making. However, it is bouncing around. Definitely is a trader stock. You can tell that a lot of people wait for it to get down to like this level here of like sub 12, 11 and a half, 11, and then they step in, they'll buy their calls, or they'll go long shares, and then they'll wait for a rally up to, like a 12.80, 13 and change, and then they'll hit the sell button, and these people week after week, maybe 2 weeks if you have to hold it, they're probably consistently flipping and making anywhere from 10 to 20, 25%. So, not knocking the traders here. And again, not really knocking the company overall. I did make my long-term prediction, again, of like 24 to 36 months, saying that this company could be $25 to $30 a share. But I did say that if some positivity came out and, the earnings numbers were decent, that you could possibly see a rally up to 15. And again, just to review, the company absolutely exploded up to 21.5, which in my opinion wasn't justified. But, has been selling off and bouncing around. So it did technically hit that short-term price target that I did put on it. But again, not giving myself too much credit because I felt it was self-explanatory. I'm sure that a lot of people out there seeing this video who might not consider themselves an expert trader or analyst who, would just generally agree with the statements that I made several months ago. Just, again, because we use simple logic and common sense on this channel sometimes to really look at the opportunities that are presented to us and, see what decisions we can make moving forward to try to generate some profits. So I'll leave it there. Not really much of an update, but just wanted to review the stock because, again, I know it was bouncing around. It's been, like I said, 7 months. They posted 2 earnings reports. So, just wanted to do a quick review with you guys on how the company has been trading and what the numbers have looked like in the last couple of earnings reports. And, again, overall, in my opinion, they're on the right track. So Draftkings, obviously it's one of those companies where at any time it could pull back. Positioning yourself here at 11.5 after a nice dip might not be the worst entry in the world. If it does pull back to 10.5, on one hand it's justified, and on the other hand it could be viewed as a buying opportunity. So might not be the worst time to start piecing into some shares here for DraftKings. They do look like they're slightly beginning to turn around the earnings numbers. However, again, this is going to be more of a long-term hold depending on what you're looking for. If you want a short little pop, you're probably going to rise up from this level going into next earnings, and if you want, you can sell going into earnings to make a quick 10, 15, 20% or whatever it might be. If you do have the time and the patience to hold this long term, I do believe in the next several years, because of how big sports betting is, we will be seeing like around a $30 stock again, where it was initially trading when it hit the street. So, keep an eye on this one. Definitely a good, good company for traders. If you have, just a few bucks and you're looking to just flip some shares or do a couple of calls or puts, put this company, Draftkings, DKNG, on your watch list. Definitely worth your attention here if you're looking to do some quick trades. But I'll leave it there. So once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. Just like everyone on YouTube says, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Helps out my algorithm. If you appreciate the videos I'm putting out, push the subscribe button. It means a lot to me. And like I always say, I understand markets are rocky, volatile, and uncertain. So I wish everyone success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. And I'll see you guys in the next video.